Good morning. Good morning. Happy Monday for everybody joining us today. We are just waiting on a few people coming to join us. My name is Sally Arkell Bowles, and I am here today to help you learn how to feed your network. Because if there's one thing I know for sure is when we're relationship building, it absolutely outperforms transactional networking. So if you're here today, put in the comments who you are, say, hi, Sally, tell me where you're tuning in from. And we're just trying to get some other people onto the platform today to join us as hosts. I'm waiting for Jonathan. We're having a bit of technical issues. So if anybody hasn't experienced that before, you know what it feels like. So thank you. Thank you so much for joining us today. So here comes Jonathan now. Here we go. There we go. I just started, Jonathan. I know we were having a few tech issues, but very nice to see you today.
Very nice to see you, Sally. This is great. I was
Awesome.
looking forward to this.
Yeah, me too. I'm always looking forward to it. So I just wanted to introduce Jonathan. So Jonathan is Jonathan Rosen. He's actually the founder of Collaberex, and we're going to talk about this organization today because we really want to introduce you to the model of a focused, intentional, and authentic relationship building, which is a direct roadmap to be able to really build not only your personal but also your business growth. And hi, Natasha. Thank you for joining us. Let everybody know where you're from. I know where you are, but maybe just put in the comments where you're tuning in from. That would be great. So glad that you could join us today. And so, Jonathan, let me know when you're ready to delve in because I just love.
I've been ready. I've been
You've been
ready
ready?
all my life.
Awesome. Love it. Are you having snow today out in the East Coast?
We did like 2 days ago, but
Oh, okay.
it's nothing. 2 inches where I am. So
There we go. Just a little smattering. We're supposed to get a little storm on the West Coast, which is very unusual for us. So we'll see how that pans out today. And Natasha, you're in the US and you're in Central, I think, aren't you? So she'll put in there where she's coming in from. So, Jonathan, I just thought what we could do today. Um, Still French, but tuning in from Richmond, Virginia. So Natasha is from France and but currently lives in the U.S. So thanks for joining us. But today I thought what we could do is really delve into why our relationships, when we're building our relationships, outperform our transactions, and especially in a networking environment. So Jonathan, why don't you give us a brief background on your company and why you're so excited about the results that we've seen from your groups?
So, I started Collaberex about 7 years ago with the kind of the mission statement to really build the most meaningful, impactful, personal relationships between business professionals, because I know that is what leads to, that is the direct route to both personal and professional growth. So what we want to do is create those relationships, but in addition, create communities of support to really expand those relationships, to encourage empathy to drive those relationships. And also, I actually, when I think about it, it comes down to one thing, really just to show people we care. Sounds like a weird mission statement for a business model, but it's something that I know that is the thing that actually brings the most concrete results. So, as I said, we started this 7 years ago. We've, I must say, the first couple of years that we were doing it, I was saying to myself a lot, "What were you thinking? This is the dumbest idea ever." But as through, I guess, grit and passion, perseverance and stubbornness, we stuck to it, and we know that it worked. We've proved that it works, because right now we have 9 East Coast groups plus Sally. We have your West Coast group, and we're serving our members in an amazing way. We're helping them form the relationships that lead to that personal and professional growth, and lead to their businesses growing, and them growing personally, and them being better at what they do. So it's been since we're this far down the road, the proof is in the pudding, and our members have really achieved some kind of incredible results.
Yeah, and I can reiterate that because hosting a group as well, It really is a eye-opener for a lot of people, because most of the people that I've seen come into my group have been to many different networking organizations. And yet they come in here and there's something different about it. And there's something that makes them feel like they are being seen, valued, and heard, but also that they're developing themselves and creating a much deeper relationship with the people that they're surrounded with. And what I just want to welcome, oh, look at, we've got Stella in from Sweden and Maria in from Spain joining us. So we've got a global audience today. Welcome, welcome everybody. So Jonathan, when we're talking about that, can you give us some more specifics on how we actually go about building those deeper relationships and how we end up really starting to understand what the value is in our networks?
Right. Well, in our groups, one thing we do not do is we don't talk at each other. We talk with each other. It's a conversation. We're looking to find out what we have in common and to learn together and use that group learning as a means to really stimulate really interesting, personal, intimate conversations. So we
Mhm.
teach a lot of we teach a couple of things. We teach all the things that you need to learn in order to be better at what you do. So
Yes.
we teach a lot of professional growth skills, personal growth skills, relationship building skills. We do some goal setting and accountability, and we also do some business development best practices. So we
Mhm.
have, just like you, Sally, we have trained professional facilitators
Mhm.
whose job is to make sure that the members of their group really accelerate that relationship building process between them. It's not about the facilitator, it's about the
Mhm.
facilitator actually literally facilitating these relationships. And as I said, these skills that we teach, we do them by we believe in sometimes bringing in the experts. So we'll show TED Talks or other educational videos or we'll use any content that will help stimulate these conversations. And just to give you an example. So in a
Mhm.
typical group, I mean, we've shown recently, let me think of some ones that we've done recently. We've talked about the power of mindfulness. We've talked about gratitude. We've talked about how training your brain for happiness is the key to increase productivity. We've
Mhm.
talked about three strategies that resilient people use. We've talked about unconscious reasoning. Um, and we've talked about things like what's the number one determinant of success. So those are
Mhm.
some of the topics that we've covered, and in doing so, people really learn more about themselves. They learn more about others, and once they connect with people, kind of more on an emotional, intimate level, um, it's magical. It literally
Mhm.
flips people's brains and they go from being strangers to wanting to help each other, and
Yeah.
that help is in whatever way the other person needs help. So it could be referrals, it could
Mhm.
be accountability, it could be strategic partnerships, it could be advice, it could be part of a focus group, whatever their needs are.
Mhm.
Just incredible to watch.
It is incredible to watch. And I know that, some of the topics that you've just talked about are ones that I've actually posted in my group as well. And what I found was that when we've paired some people up to do either a group breakout or an individual breakout, they come back with such an actual energy that I've recognized that is much more empowering, because they got to have a deeper conversation with somebody about a specific topic, but they also got to know each other on a much different level than they would at most types of networking groups. And I would even say that I've been to a lot of different in-person groups as well. And it takes a much longer time to build those relationships over the time, because everybody's trying to be in front of everybody. And so when we're able to break apart from that, I think that's where we get more intimate in our relationship building and be able to get to understand that person's values and their mission and their goals, and really be able to support them in any way that we possibly can, because you choose to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're
I
not,
just want
we're not selling each other. We're learning
to.
about each other.
Mhm.
One thing that we've said in groups that sometimes strikes people the wrong way is we say things like we've said, no one really cares what you do.
Mhm.
it's not completely true, but we want them to think about that. What we do care about, we care about who you are. And
Yes.
that has to come first.
Hmm.
You have to start the relationship first. You have to learn uh, what values other people have, what you have in common, what their comments are. You have to learn things that will really be kind of incentive for you to further that relationship, to have another meeting with that person.
Hmm.
And once we learn about who people are and the things
Yes.
that we have in common and the personal aspects, we care so much more about what they do.
Hmm.
And we care enough to really help them grow their business and to
Hmm.
support them and be responsible for their successes.
Yeah. And I also like the fact that when they come back to the meetings regularly, they start building such deep relationships that you become referable as well, not just to do business together or to help each other, but I've seen people go and start to promote people right away because they've got that tighter relationship and because they know them at a much deeper level. I just want to call out a few people in here. We've got Rob that's come in from San Francisco, Michael from Washington, Nicholas has joined us. So welcome everybody. And what questions do you have about this type of networking where you're really building that relationship in your networking? Have you been able to have different tips or ideas that you've done that have helped you to really have a stronger bond with people as you're in your networking environments? So if you pop that into the comments, we can pull some of those comments up and answer some of your questions. So Jonathan, this all sounds like it's nice, right? It's nice. I can go and, build a relationship with people, but usually people don't generally join groups because they sound nice. So from the agendas, what are the benefits that some of the people are getting at every meeting?
So that's a really good point. Like if I go to a restaurant and they're really nice but the food's terrible, I'm not going back.
Right.
So it's got to be more than nice. It should be nice and something else, and something
Mhm.
that's measurable, that's going to help you solve a problem, achieve a goal, things like that. So that's we do this not because it's nice, but because it turns out to be the most effective way for people to grow their businesses. So at each and
Mhm.
every meeting, people generally get three things, I would say. One is there's no return on investment. It's joy of learning, personal satisfaction. Oh, we had this conversation. We watched, for instance, a TED talk on resilience. It really helped me grow and think of things when I have challenges that I need to overcome. Personal value. I'm going to send the TED talk to my kids, to my spouse, to my significant others, to my friends, things like that. So that's one thing, just
Mhm.
personal joy of learning, personal growth. The second thing is they say those same things can really apply to make improvements in the bottom line of their business.
Mhm.
So let's say it's the topic of resiliency and strategies that resilient people use. You just lost a big customer. There's a downturn in the economy. There's new competitors, things like this. It's strategies that can help you overcome everyday challenges, whether
Mhm.
they're big or small, and help you really keep that positive mindset and bounce back. So there's this business value that has a direct return on investment. And the
Mhm.
third thing is from these conversations, which are smaller and more intimate. We do a lot of breakouts with maybe just three people in the room.
Mhm.
What people do is they learn about each other. So it really accelerates that relationship building process so that
Mhm.
you build those relationships, you literally flip people's brains, and then they help you in whatever way you need help. And if that help
Mhm.
has to do with business key performance indicators, you're going to get that help. If it's
Yes.
referrals or sales or advice or things like that, that's also going to affect your bottom line. So those are generally the things that people get.
Mhm. And I popped up Rob's comment because I think that's what we're finding is that people are really feeling that they need that connection. And it is about relationships. And I'm sure everybody on the call can relate to all of the cold approaches we get on a platform like LinkedIn. right? How many do you get in a day with people just popping in and saying, hey, I think you need social media help on this, or I can fix this, or, it's those popping in, just throwing spaghetti at the wall that we see every day, but it's taking it to that deeper level, just like Rob's saying, and building those relations deeper. So, Jonathan,
So
if,
that's a good point that Rob says, because it's, I don't know, the point of building a relationship, or the point when you have a meeting with someone, people forget the point is to have another meeting, to
mhm,
continue it, not just one and done. So when you meet someone for coffee, you never get out of that coffee and say,
mhm,
that was great, I got all my talking points in. You
yeah,
think, that was great, I made a connection with that person, found out how much we have in common. We
yeah,
want to continue the conversation. I can't tell you how many strategic partnerships have been formed within our group. I just got a message yesterday from a group member and said, I said to her, is everything okay? We haven't seen you in a meeting in a while. And I know she has young kids and a lot going on. And she said, I haven't, and I'm sorry, and I'm going to try and re-engage, but it's all your fault. She says, because of a strategic partnership I formed with a member in a completely different group, in a completely different geographic area. She says, we're working so much together, I've just been swamped. So that's a good
nice.
answer. So,
That's an awesome answer.
yeah.
Doesn't everybody want that? One
Yeah.
strategic connection that can lead to, being so busy in your business. That's amazing. So now, if someone was to join one of the groups, um, how would they get more qualified leads than a traditional networking group?
Um, they might, and I'll tell you
Mm-hmm,
why. It's a whole matter of mindset, really. People,
mm-hmm,
sometimes I don't like to use the word networking, because people then assume it's like traditional networking groups. Oh, it's a business group, you're getting together on Zoom, and must be like the other ones.
mm-hmm,
But we're not at all. So people that are looking for so-called the better, business networking group, might be disappointed, because we're so different than what other traditional networking groups do, where they don't work every second, every minute, every group at accelerating that relationship building process. So people that come to our groups with this kind of transactional mindset, like, okay, here's a group I joined, I hope I get more referrals, kind of usually
mm-hmm,
ignoring the quality of the referrals, but I hope I get more. They're going to be disappointed if they have that transactional mindset. And those people actually, I don't know, I can't think of anyone that's ever achieved their transactional goals with that
mm-hmm,
mindset. But people that come to our groups with a relational mindset and say, okay, this is the content that's going to help me personally and professionally. This is the content that's going to help me build relationships with other people. I'm going to take full advantage of my membership. I'm going to go to the group meetings. I'm going to engage with other people in the groups. I'm going to go to the workshops. If they have a full membership in Collaberex, I'm going to go to the other groups. I'm going to go on our member portal. I'm going to do this. The people that have that relational mindset have always achieved their transactional goals,
mm-hmm.
but it's counterintuitive. It's kind of an indirect approach,
Yes.
So I, it's I hear stories every day when,
Mm-hmm,
people say things like this response I just got. Sorry, I haven't been at the meetings. I'm a little overwhelmed with work because
mm-hmm.
of a strategic partnership I formed with another member.
Yeah. Well, and I know I have experience from having been in a networking group for probably about 6 months with the same people. And one of the gentlemen decided to come to my Collaborex group. I invited him over and he came to check it out. And we were in a breakout room, and he never had known about who I truly was or my background. And after that conversation, he had a whole different perspective on me, because the other networking groups we had been to had been more transactional and not getting to know the person at a deeper level. And so for me, that was a like light bulb goes off. Here's somebody that I already knew and I thought I knew, and he thought he knew me, but didn't have a clue about who I really was. And this is what comes out at these types of meetings. So, what about our the goals that people would have when they come into the groups. So they might come in from that transactional perspective, but what are the benefits to them?
Well, as I said before, they're building these relationships that lead to other people wanting to help them in whatever way they need help.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever we've had people that come to our groups and they, they're starting off in their practice or they've started a new kind of practice. We have a woman that joined not too long ago, and she started her own. She had been working at market research firms, but she's went out on her own. So she's like, she needs clients.
Yeah.
She needs contacts. So that's the help that she's going to get. That's the benefit she's going to get. She's also going to get a lot of advice on how to start a business and how to build a business and how long it takes and
Yeah.
what strategies to use to do that. One of the things that we have, not only in addition to the groups that we have, the 10 groups that we have, is we have things called affinity groups, which are where all members can join. And these are groups where people have either a commonality or a common target market. So
Mm-hmm.
this morning I facilitated a group, and it's for those that call on chief executive officers and C-level decision makers. So the members in our group that
Mm-hmm.
was who they're looking to get the attention of came to this meeting, and it's kind of an open forum. And I said, well, what do you want to talk about? We can talk about issue processing. We could talk about strategic partnerships. We could talk about business development best practices. So they all decided that let's do business development best practices. And they each chimed in on things that were working best for them or things that
Mm-hmm.
they've tried that haven't worked. It's kind of a warning, don't waste your time. Or I'm still, and in that group, there happened to be three members that are in the kind of the marketing industry. So they all chimed in on things that has worked for their clients and worked for themselves. It was like nonstop,
Mm.
1 hour,
Nice.
kind of peer advisory, um, you know, very practical, here are things that you need to do. So,
Mm-hmm.
so was it nice? Yeah, it was nice, but it was also very valuable.
Yeah, and that peer advisory is priceless because not everybody wants to share it, but in a group where you know, like, and trust the people and you have that relationship, it's much easier to be able to share that information about their strategies and how they've worked with it and what their tips and tricks are. So I love that.
Yeah, and we've also created a culture of
Mm-hmm.
people that come to our groups, and if they have a kind of an other focused mindset, they
Mm.
feel comfortable with our groups,
Yeah.
with the people in our groups. They see that these people are using empathy to drive those relationships, and they know that these are people that are there and are willing to be responsible for their success.
Mm.
So it's just this community of kind of like-minded people.
Mm-hmm.
I've asked people in the past, I've asked them a lot, probably in an annoying way, but of to describe themselves and to describe their fellow members.
Mm-hmm.
And let me tell you what they came up with, like in this
Good.
order. And I thought it was interesting because it was a little unexpected. The first thing they said, and I hate to say this, is the people are nice. That was their first descriptor. The second, they said they're nice, they're collaborative. Well, of course, they were going
Mm-hmm.
to say that because we're Collaberex, right? And they said they're smart was third. And fourth, they said they're people who feel good by making others feel good.
Mm.
And that's kind of a really good sense of the people in our group
Mm-hmm.
of it's this kind of community of support
Yeah.
that literally becomes people's competitive advantage.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going it alone as a professional service provider and trying to just you know make more calls and have more meetings, but they have this group of people that are there supporting them and helping them along, and being
Mhm.
that kind of sanctuary almost from the competitive environment we're all in.
Yeah. Well, and I think also part of that is developing long-term relationships with these people, because if they attend regularly, they get to know you even better. They get to see your progress. They get to support you along the way. And at the end of the day, isn't that what we want to do, is be able to help other people have success as well as ourselves? So seeing that relationship that builds long-term, that you could pick up the phone at any time and call one of those people that you met, that you built that relationship to, and they'd help you no problem. And I think that's where I've noticed a big gap in the networking world today.
Yeah, it's interesting. If you did a study, and maybe someone has done one, and you ask like every every company, say in the United States, about, and you ask them one question, who is your describe your best customers, or tell me who your best customers are. I don't think they would say their best customers are the ones that brought in the most annual revenue per year. I
Mm,
think they would say their best customers are the ones that have been with them the longest, the ones that view them not based on price, but based on value, the
mhm,
ones that they've gone to their daughter's wedding, they had a barbecue with, the ones that they have that long-term relationship with, where
mhm,
they know if they have to, have a price increase, the customer's not going to run to someone else, because
mhm,
they see the added value that they provide from that long-term relationship.
mhm. Excellent, because I think that, when we look at that, there's so many different ways to look at business. And I think we've today become a lot of a transactional society. And because of social media, we're building a lot of different relationships, but not necessarily those strong, deep relationships where you will have that ability to continue to work with those clients, or to be able to really serve others in a much greater way.
Isn't life so much easier if we build fewer, deeper relationships?
Yeah.
I mean, if we do a couple of things that give us our guideposts,
Mhm.
one, if we like, and this is some of the work that we do in the groups, if we define our values and define our mission, and then we look at all our behaviors and make sure they align with those values. That's one thing
Mhm.
that makes business life easier.
Yeah.
But business development life, you can make that easier if you have a group of people that become your sales funnel, because
Mhm.
you've built those fewer, deeper relationships with them, and you're theirs too.
Mhm.
Years ago, I there was someone that connected with me that had moved from Boston to New York. In Boston, he he was doing well. He was a very successful accountant at a big firm there, and his parents were in diminishing health, so he had to come to New York to help
Mm.
take care of them. But also, he was starting all over in terms of building a network.
Yep.
And he said to me, "I want the group that I had in Boston." I go, "Well, what was that group?" And he says, "Oh, they're five guys I went to college with." And
Mm.
one, I'm an accountant, one was insurance, one was law, one was this, and we just helped each other. We were at each other's, we saw each other's kids get born, we were invited, we were friends, we were this, we went out drinking, we helped each other in business, we helped
Mhm.
each other in every way. It wasn't just like, if one of the friends didn't give me a referral, I wasn't going to stop being his friend.
Yeah.
There's so much more than that. He says that's the group that I wanted. And so
Mhm.
that's kind of one of the things that we keep in mind in fashioning our groups. We want those groups of kind of close, that people, where people have built these close relationships,
Mhm.
where it's so much, it's based on value and longevity.
Mhm. So now, if someone was interested in attending one of the groups, how often do we meet? How often are there opportunities for them to be able to join in on different groups if they find that one might be more suited than the other?
So the way that we do it is, our goal is that anyone that's new to this or wants to try it out should have enough information so they can decide whether it's of value to them. That's all that's important.
Mhm.
So what we do is we tell everyone, we give everyone a free 30-day membership. You're a full member for 30 days. In that 30 days, you can go to every group. So, you'd be a crazy person to do so, because we have 10 groups that meet twice a month for 90 minutes. So, that's 20 meetings right there. We have 4 affinity groups that either meet once or twice a month. We also have a monthly workshop that's once a month. We have a monthly open networking group that meets once a month. So, it's a lot, but you can go and you can sample any groups you want. We have a list, we have a calendar that we send everyone. It's very
Okay.
easy to schedule your time. You click on the calendar and you click book, and we send you the Zoom link. But you can really sample our groups. Our groups are all under the same theme of everything that we do, but they're all facilitated by people with slightly different personalities. I facilitate my groups much different than Sally does, and
Mhm.
much different than our other, 6 master facilitators do. All our facilitators are doing it for the members. They're not doing it for themselves, but they're all paid professional facilitators that have either like worked at Fortune 1000 companies, or led groups, or a lot of them have coaching practices, and it's really amazing to see the
Mhm.
differences and the similarities between everyone. So we always encourage people to test out a few groups, see what fits their schedule, and see if they like our model. See, where they're most comfortable, if they with the people in
Mhm.
the group and with the facilitator.
Awesome. So now, as we're moving forward, if someone's really interested in wanting to join, would they reach out to you or myself or either of us and just let us know if they're interested in joining and coming to check us out for that 30 days?
Either of us. Um, what I often do is, I ask about their schedule when they're available, because our groups meet all days of the week. Not Fridays. We don't have a regular primary group that meets on Fridays, because no one seems to want that. But
Mhm.
Monday through Thursday, a lot of them are. We have a lot of them are in East Coast morning time. Sally's group is morning Pacific time. We have another group that's noon East Coast time. So sometimes it's a practical thing of what they can go to.
Mhm.
And then I always like to talk to them, because some of our groups, they tend to be a little more business to consumer oriented, and some business to business oriented. So I want to put them in a group where
Mhm.
they're going to meet people that meet kind of the decision makers they're looking to meet, other people that also share their common target market, which also helps in under being in their shoes, understanding the advice that they want, and knowing, by sharing target markets, they
Mhm.
know some of the same. They have similar challenges, and they have connections that can help them.
Mhm. Yeah, and I think that's important too, is to, when I first came into Collaborex, I went to different facilitators groups at the beginning just to see who was out there and what their audience was like and who their members were, and learn a little bit more about each of the different groups. And then I was able to choose which group I really wanted to, commit to. And currently I run one on the first and third Tuesdays of the month at 8:30 a.m. Pacific time. So it allows other people from other time zones to be able to make it as well, because most of the people that I'm connected with are either in Europe or in all of North America. And I have a lot of people in New Zealand, but I don't have a time zone for them. So that's a little challenge. But there's lots of different people that show up and lots of different people that come in with some great insights. And it's really quite fun to just to go through the process of being not only networking in a relationship perspective, but also to have, like Jonathan said at the beginning, that personal development, that business development, some communication skills, all these different practices that you would use in your business and your life come to the forefront. And that's what I really enjoy about it, because everybody's got a voice surrounding those topics. So, Jonathan, is there any last words that you would like to share today?
It's just, we also, I just want to tell everyone, we do have members. We have a member in the UK, and a member in Portugal, and a member in Dubai, and we are getting more, becoming more global. It's a great way for people that are in other countries that want to do more business in the US to
Mhm.
gain a network of really people that are there to support them and really introduce them into the US market. So
Mhm.
that's
And
really
Canada.
helpful. And
We're
Canada, yeah.
Canadian over here.
And but this is an
Mhm.
extremely welcoming community, and one where if people join and take advantage of their membership, that's all they need to do, then they're going to reap the benefits. Actually
Mhm.
it's a great thing to try out for 2024. We all
Mhm.
have our goals.
Yes.
And, we've been saying at meetings just since, January just started, but since the beginning of the year, we always pose the question in our meetings: how can the people in this group make your year amazing or more
Mm.
amazing? And really, because it's that mentality of being responsible for each other's success.
Mhm.
And it's a culture that we're kind of very proud of, and this is what matches our mission of the relationship building that we want to do.
Yes. Yes, I love that. I think that's a great way to finish today because it really is about how we can support each other. And the difference, as we said at the beginning, the difference is really compared to the transactional and why relationship marketing and networking is so critical today in our business environment. And I think in 2024, it's becoming more and more evident that that is the way that we need to step back into and do our business like we used to probably 5, 10 years ago, where that was mostly what we did. And we've been drifting away, but I think this is one of the opportunities that I definitely have experienced and know that my members are finding a big value from having attended the Collaberex and really starting to build deeper relationships. So thank you so much for your time today, Jonathan, and thank you everybody for your comments and for joining us today. And like Jonathan and I said, just DM us, Collaberex or network, and we'll pop in some information for you and start to have a conversation so that we can find the right solution for you and answer any of your questions. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Sally. This was fun. This is great.
It's always fun.
Yes, I'm always ready to talk about this. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you for joining us, Jonathan.
Okay.